He does. Even the end, but I love also with Masashi Goda Body Improvement Club when he fights that Esper. Then was it Dimple takes his body, but then he admits he's been listening to Mob and how Mob agrees that your physical muscles are stronger than psychic muscles. And Dimple knows that. Then he sees in the fight and he tells him, "You were right."
Yeah. Because he takes over his body, and like the muscles that he built up through repetition were way stronger than the psychic muscles that guy used.
And so one really thing interesting I want to talk about too is the character of Reagan. So when you would hear about Reagan, you give a description about him, you would automatically hate him.
Yeah, for sure.
But yet you love him. He's he's a sleazebag, and he's using Mob. He originally didn't even, once he found his psych powers, okay, come back again. He's just this sleazebag who's just kind of mooching off of other people. He really has no drive. And yet he's this really lovable character in the show.
Yeah, he ends up becoming a lovable character. Well, he really is from the beginning. Even though you should dislike him at some level, you can tell how helpful he is to Mob, even though he's lying to him.
Of course. And then he had that whole humbling arc where originally then he realized how much Mob meant to him. He was always thinking that he meant a lot to Mob, but actually it was the other way around, and that Mob meant a lot to him. And once he was without Mob, he just, I guess his life didn't have as much meaning till once, Mob saves him in the conference. He makes him believe like he has these psychic powers, and then they get back together.
Yeah. Let me think.
And one thing though, Can we appreciate though how my favorite scene is when what is it? Mob sees him at the ending when Reagan, he comes out of the conference. They have that spinning shot that says, "My master is a good guy after all," or genuinely good guy. And then has that spinning shot where first Mob was like impressed with Reagan, and then Reagan, it switches to him, and he has like kind of like a tear and a smile.
Yeah.
Kind of reassure him that like he's actually a decent person.
Was it right around the time when I think he's about to kind of say to Mob, like, I don't have any powers, right? But Mob is like, no, I always knew.
Yeah, and he was clenching his fist. He was like, oh, I guess he found out I'm just this con man.
Yeah.
And Dimple, he was kind of worried. That man had like a little sweat drop coming down him.
Yeah, because, I mean, the whole time we're all wondering, like, how does Mob not realize that he's being taken advantage of? But he did know, in a sense, and he didn't think he was being taken advantage of. He still felt like he was being taken care of by Reagan, and he was being, like Reagan was his only friend.
Yeah, and it was genuine too. I was surprised. And I guess the funny thing is because Dimple, he's always with him. He catches on about him. He finds it funny when he fights Aizawa or Tizawa, the guy with the umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
When he fights him, Mob tells him, "You're just being used." And then Dimple's like, "Really? You're the one to say that?"
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was pretty funny. I mean, yeah, Dimple catches on to everything. So it's definitely interesting. It's like, oh, yeah, Mob, you can tell someone they're getting used when you kind of are yourself.
And one of the greatest Reagan moments has to be when he took over Mob's powers for a little bit. And he just beats up on those bad guys.
And then they call him, I think even better than that is when he fights, what's the one who can teleport? I forgot his name.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
And with him, also, apparently he had the same, was English sub voice actor as Sasuke?
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
But yeah, when he comes up Reagan, he just comes up to him and then gives him, the self-defense rush. I love the description for it.
Yes.
He says self-defense just to make sure.
Just to make sure, because he's not sure if it was self-defense.
It was not. He just came and just blindsided, punched him. And then he has one of the strongest espers crap their pants, thinking he's strong when in reality he isn't. Just such a lucky man. It's so fun. He's like King, but he actually does stuff.
Yeah, no, for sure. There's definitely a parallel there.
Like, King is mad lucky, but he doesn't actually do a single thing. Whereas Reagan's lucky, but he actually kind of does stuff.
Reagan is so lucky. When he walks into the boss's to the bad guy's lair, and he pretends to be the boss, and like, and all of the underlings believe him. It was so good.
Yeah, that's the sales in him. He definitely knows how to deceive people.
Yeah. No, and you know what? I love that he brings an adult, like a real adult view into an anime. You know, where he's like, you guys are being children. He said, you know, he says that to the Claw members, like,
Yeah.
And they are, you know, it's crazy. Like, he's like, if you can't even like deal with society, how are you going to take over society?
Oh yeah, that was the best thing. Or like he says, yeah, if you haven't seen the world, how can you take over the world? Like, yeah, he just keeps dropping knowledge.
Yeah. No,
then what is
it's
it?
so cool.
Mob's little brother says, "Oh, this isn't good." He's like, he's humbling them. He's bringing them back down to reality.
Yeah, yeah. He made them think they didn't have powers, like.
And then what is it? When he goes against the top 5 echelon, he's like, "Oh crap, I'm not getting through to these ones. They're just way too out of it."
They are. They are.
But yeah, Reagan definitely really does bring that adult aspect, especially even like when he's going through that arc where they realize he's a fraud. He's like, what should I do next? And even this whole time he was thinking, what should I do with my life?
Yeah,
And
that was some serious shit. Like when I'm watching that, I was like, I don't know if I emotionally connected it with it as much the first time I saw it, but the second time definitely I was like, wow, like this is real. Like that's what it feels like. You know, you don't know what you want to do with your life. You don't know what kind of jobs, what isn't gonna be boring. Like, it was great.
And originally he was like, what? He was in an office. He's already doing, I think, some type of sales thing.
Yeah.
And then he was just doing that like psychic thing out of a whim, and he doesn't even really know why he first started. But then after getting Mob, obviously he followed through and I guess really liked it. Even though I don't even think he's making that much money to begin with on it.
No, definitely not. He started to make more money a little
because
later
what is
in the
it?
show.
When he sees the other psychic with like that big necklace, he was like, "That's how much you charge?"
Yeah, yeah.
Like he was like shocked at how little he's charging. But yeah, he built his empire. I think was at the end of season 2. What he got the guy with the umbrella. Then he got, I'm so bad with these names. The girl from the telepathy club to start doing an internship. Oh, wait, actually, that's manga.
Yeah, I was like, I
I
didn't know that was gonna happen.
Yeah. Well, though the guy with the umbrella does join, I think.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, man. I guess, man, Reagan's lucky. The guy knows psychic powers. He has 2 of the strongest, psychic espers with him. Mob and him.
Yeah, and he has them doing like menial stuff.
Yeah, it's always so funny. And then Mom's like, "So why are you calling him in for this?" So Mom's always like, "Dude, you don't need me for this."
Yeah, that was when he got fed up that one time.
Oh, well, yeah, that was because he was telling, like, when Mob was finally getting friends from the Body Improvement Club and Telepathy Club, right? He's like, nah, do this work. This means more than them. They don't really like you.
That was the meanest thing Reagan said.
He
I
don't know
awful.
how he didn't think that was good.
I know, it's crazy. He's just so used to he was so used to things not changing. He doesn't change. He doesn't want to change, but Mob does. He wants to become a better, more social person, and Reagan was not expecting that to happen.